here we go.
Okay, what's up? It's your boy Sean P. Back again, Reese the Funeral Man, and we are back with our second half of our best of 2022 so far, our mid-year review, and we're gonna give our top projects, our top albums of this year so far. And Reese, this has been a great year in hip hop. It's been a very good year. It's a competitive year. A lot of hot projects out. Before I get to my honorable mentions, I just want to give kudos to some artists who, may not have made the list. Like I like the Chez Noir project. I like Key Glock's project. He's a trap artist. There are a lot of good artists that came out with strong work this year. I wouldn't really say Currency had a nice project. This has been a great year for hip hop, man. Another guy was by the name of Young Roddy. Like a lot of artists came with some great projects this year. But I'm gonna have you start off this time. Um, who are your honorable mentions for 2022 so far?
Oh, okay. Um, so my honorable mention, it's kind of weird because because it's kind of the same deal as the other list.
Yeah,
Um,
artist.
I'm gonna go with Denzel Curry. Uh,
Yeah,
on my honorable mention. Again, I think that he put out a solid project. I think that he took a little bit of a risk and he did some things, but he didn't overdo it like he did in his last project, which I thought was crazy. And Lupe, I think Lupe's album wasn't super great to me, but it was good enough to get an honorable mention. Um, so those two projects are the ones that I thought was what's the name.
I gotta back that up too. Denzel Curry, he made my honorable mention. Uh, Melt My Eyes, See Your Future. I think this guy came with um, it's kind of a risk taking album, but he mixed a lot of real, traditional hip hop and mixed a lot of trap in there. He has a lot going on this album. But he's my one honorable mention. I think Denzel Curry really impressed this year. He's one of those artists that could make a case for artist of the year. However, so many big name artists came this year, so he might get outshined. But I think he definitely deserves an honorable mention. Also, Little Dirk, 7220. He also impresses me. He's probably my top mainstream cat right now. The guy that's probably on the radio the most on my list. Outside of, well, we'll get to to Kendrick, but um, yeah, those are my two honorable mentions. Little Dirk, 7220, and I'll go with Denzel Curry. Um, uh, melt, melt, melt your eyes, melt my eyes, see your future.
That's a weird name.
Yeah.
Come on, man. What are we doing here?
Yeah.
All right, so my number five is probably gonna be. I'm gonna go with Conway the Machine. I think that his album to me is a pretty good album, and I think that it graced my number five. Same as him as the artist. I think when they get a little higher, it's gonna probably change for me. But I gave him what's the name number five slot. Conway the Machine.
You know what? You bring up a good point. Now, Conway normally would um make my number five. He's always the traditional pick. Many people have it as a top five album, but Believe it or not, I'm gonna go with a little bit of a change up. I'm gonna go with Dave East, um, HDIGH. I forget the whole long name, how spelled out what it was, but I like what Dave East did on here. He kind of, I like the production on here. Believe it or not, even though it's kind of down tempo production. I like the fact that Dave came with some conceptual albums like the After Taxes joint, the song John Lennon, and he has some energy. He has some up tempo joints, some turn up joints on here. I think Dave continued on right from his role last year with this Harry Fraud project that was big. He gets my number 5 slot. Dave East, HDIGH.
Babies. So my number four slot is probably gonna may shock a lot of people. I think that I think this guy is the best street rapper in the game.
Mm-hmm.
But I think that I think that his album to me um it was pretty good. It was pretty good. Um it was a little I think the production was very good on this album, and I'm gonna have to go with Pusha T's album at my number 4 this year. I didn't leave a lasting impression like I thought it would, but it's still in my top 5.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna go with Pusha T's album. I think that I had it going neck and neck with another guy, but I kind of edged the other guy out. So
Yeah. So you got Pusha T at your number 4. Number 4, and this is gonna have to be, see, these top 4, I'm gonna say this top 4 that I got here, um, I think are can either one could be album of the year. I look at it like the Davies, Lil Durk, even Conway's album, which didn't make my top 5, but that would be in my top 10. You know what I mean? They're on one tier, but I think these albums are a tier up. So this is the elite tier of albums, and there are 4 of them this year. I'm gonna go with the first of that 4, and that's gonna be Ransom's No Rest for the Wicked. Um, Ransom, as you know, was my number 2 pick, best lyricist of the year. I think this is lyrically the most sound lyrical street album out there. I like what Ransom did with it. Um, he really came with it, man. Like, and he just continued his role, just like Davies carried his role last year. Um, Ransom keeps going on. He just keeps rolling right on, and like I said, I think he's the best lyrical guy this year. I would give this project an 8.5 to maybe a 9. Because it does have some good replay value. So I'm gonna go Ransom at my number 4. No Rest for the Wicked.
all right, so for my number 3, it may shock a lot of people too. I'm gonna go with Ransom on this one.
Okay.
I think that the number 3 and number 2 are interchangeable for me. One day it might be this, next day it might be this. But I think that for me, that album, today I'm putting it at number 3. Um, I think Ransom has been on such a roll, man. Like I'm so happy for Ransom, man, because he's starting to get the recognition that he deserves. He's been in the game for a long time, and I think that he didn't found his niche. He didn't found his niche, and it's like I seen him go from 5,000 followers to like 60,000 followers. He's on the road, man. So I'm gonna go with Ransom. I think every time Ransom puts a project out, he doesn't give you nothing less than greatness or excellence. So yeah, I'm gonna go with
That's a
Ransom.
great pick. Like I said, we're pretty much neck and neck. And
Yeah.
just like you said, it's hard at this point. These albums are interchangeable for me, so it's not even a slight if you're number three, two, or even number one. But I think Ransom was my number four. Was my best, my favorite lyrical project of this year. Um, Number three, I'm gonna have to go with my best produced project this year. I think the best beats I've heard this year was Pusha T, and It's Almost Dry. Pusha T continues his run. He picked off right where he left off in 2018, like with Daytona. I think it's a top three project. I love the mix of hardcore street bangers, hardcore kind of 90s style street bangers like Diet Coke
Yeah,
that brought back that 90s type of 995 feel, and a mixer like Pharrell with some turn up joints on there too. Um Best produced joint on there. I just love the beats on here. I love the energy Pusha brings. Um Great street energy. My number three pick, Pusha T. It's Almost Dry.
all right. So my number my number two, um, and like I said, this is interchangeable. Between the number one, I mean between number two and number three, and that's Benny's project. I've recently just listened to Benny's project again, and I realized that that is a really good album. I think that he did some things on that album that he usually don't do. You know what I'm saying? With the fast flows and different type of things and the
Great.
concepts he did.
Right about that.
He's pushing himself. And then he when he dropped the song, the kind of like the conscious song that he dropped, I thought was pretty decent. You know what I'm saying? That he did to the we cry together beat. I think that Benny has, to me, he has shown that he can push himself to be that guy. And I think that Benny Ransom, we always talking about the same people every year about having albums of the year. The Benny Ransom, Conway.
Yeah.
Every year is the same
All
thing.
in the
They
conversation, man.
always in the conversation of album of the year. You know what I'm saying? So I
The
think
game.
that I think that he definitely delivered something to me that is well, I would say that's the reason why he's the best in Griselda. So Benny's album number two.
I go with that. Yeah, that's a great pick. And hey, believe it or not, man, we're probably gonna end up going with the same top two picks on both lists.
Yeah, right.
Uh, I got to go with Benny the Butcher. Tana Talk 4 is my number two, and that's my best street album of this year. Um, Alchemist and Derringer delivered, man. I mean, it's got a very dark, gritty feel to it, reminiscent of Tana Talk 3. But I like the growth by Benny on this
Yeah,
album because, like you said, he's doing different flows now. He's got more of a mainstream energy to him that he picked up from the Hit Boy project that he did. This seems like a more polished version of Benny than when he came out in with Tana Talk 3. And listen, it's neck and neck. I mean, you could flip that and Pusha T interchangeably, man. I think Ransom was my best lyrical project. Pusha was the best project from a beat standpoint, and this was my best street album of this year. I definitely got to go and follow you with that on uh, Benny the Butcher, Town to Talk 4.
yeah. Terry Talk 4 definitely was one of those albums I think that pushed him out of that class. I think that he's on his way to greatness. So my number one is we know is Kendrick Lamar, Mr. Morrow, and the Big Steppers. This album is phenomenal. I think that this album is something that's going to be talked about for years to come. I think that he hasn't even really done too much yet, and once he starts to drop more visuals for this album, because this album to me, he has said some things on there that are very uncomfortable to talk about, and I think that he's putting himself in a position where he's like I said in the last one, he's putting himself in a position where he's on par with the greatest musicians of all time, not just rappers. And this album, even though I think that it may be my third best Kendrick album, but for some reason this album hit me harder than the other two. Like
That's a great point, man.
it hit me harder, maybe because I'm into that social
That's a great point.
stuff. You
Yeah,
know what I'm saying? But I think that this is a combination of the first two albums, Pimp a Butterfly and To Good Kid, Mad City, in a way. You know what I mean? Maybe a little bit. All three of them, I would say, damn too. But I think that this album, some songs I listen to and it hits me like a ton of bricks because I'd be like, this is like some songs I just don't know how to take. It's like I don't know how to even explain it because it's just like some things he say I'll be wanting to say, but I can't get it out. You know what I'm saying? And I think that he delivered with this. This project to me is leaps and bounds better than the other ones. It's not that it's better than them albums because he rap better than them. It's a better experience to listen to. When you listen to this album, I don't care if you is a hip hop artist, a rap fan or not. If you listen to this album, if you're just a regular person and you listen to this album, you're gonna be took on a ride. You know what I'm saying? And that's why this album to me is number
that's
one.
great. That's a great point, man. So my number one album, I gotta go with Jack Harlow and nah, I'm playing.
Yeah, right.
I'm playing. I'm playing. No, I'm gonna
I
go
was
with
yeah, it's
Drake.
funny. I was gonna say that same shit.
Nah, 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 nah,
Yo,
nah,
that's
nah.
hilarious.
Nah, but that Drake joint
Yeah,
with
right. Yeah,
I can't forget about that one.
yeah,
Nah, Mr. Morale and the Big Steppers, man. I mean, what more can you say? And Reese, I want to follow up on some points that you said. This move, this album is like an experience to you. It's a movie. It's literally a movie, and even though you want to skip, and some songs may just be okay, they lead into the next song. I know the skits I used to say weren't kind of needed, but I found myself listening to the skits. I don't know how he did it. He made Kodak Black work, and he made a hit record with Kodak Black. I mean, that song is a total vibe all the
yeah,
way.
yeah,
Silent Hill. Um, yo, and I like you, man. This is maybe next to Good Kid, Mad City, and I could debate with To Pimp a Butterfly, the, the most enjoyable Kendrick album. You know what I mean? It's a ride, like you said, and their highs, they're really low lows as far as from an emotional standpoint, from the song Mama I Cried for You, or that song about being abused, or
yeah,
what was the other one? You know, just the stories about having a gay aunt.
yeah, yeah,
You know, Father Pride, all of that, man, or
yeah,
Father Time rather.
yeah,
This album's a whole movie, man. Definitely a 9 out of 10. Kendrick delivered all the way, and look, he got me. This album got me back on the bandwagon after I was kind of down on Kendrick for a
yeah,
while, but yeah, he delivered, and he's the man right now. I mean, there's
yeah.
nothing you could say to Kendrick Lamar right now. I mean, he's on top of the world. I mean, it's the biggest stream project of the year, and it's the biggest, most quality project of the year. Kendrick Lamar came back in a big way. I can't say anything more, man.
Yeah, that song you talking about is it's called "Mother I Sober" or "Mother I Somber" or something like
Mother I
that,
Sober, yeah, it has an
right?
odd name.
So here's the thing, like that song is actually about people accusing someone of being abused and they don't believe them and because they
Wow.
were abused. So his mother was abused, and she thought that his uncle was abusing him, and he's saying like touching him because his uncle was touching him. He was saying no, he never touched me. And when as the song went on, he said, "Why didn't you believe me when I told you?" And she said, "Because I was abused, and I only so." he was going through trauma, knowing thinking that he did something wrong, but he
Yeah,
wasn't never abused. But it's about people believing that you were abused even though you wasn't, and they think you're lying to them. So the whole
that's
time he says mom felt like he was lying to her and he wasn't lying. That that's what I said, man. Like
that's
stuff
like
like that. So it's so crazy. I know, and this is so crazy. I know Drake has stories like that. I know he do. I know he has. I know he has. You don't have to have stories like that, but I know he has stories. Even if Drake did an album about a rap album about how he abused women and how he could do anything for me at this point. Just make better music, my man. Like you know what I'm saying? Like I
crazy.
just think that I don't know. So that's
Don't
that's it for
don't make
me.
uh Drake's Night at the Roxbury Part 2.
Yeah,
Don't do
right.
that.
Don't do. Yeah, so I don't know, man.
Drake at the Roxbury.
Yeah, but
Nah, man. Yeah, so I gotta go. First, let's talk a little bit about, well, your most disappointing project. We're probably gonna go real on Drake.
yeah, I didn't want to go
uh,
go any more on that dude. We already know I said it. Like, yeah, it's
yeah,
Drake's project.
I don't know. What do you think? Who do you think? Well, what do you think was the most overrated project of this year that you don't understand why people, thought it was good or great or what have you?
I'm probably and it's crazy because it's in my honorable mentions. I'm probably gonna have to go with Lupe's album.
Lupe, yeah.
Yeah, even though it just came out, I just think that people are so obsessed with Lupe that he's at this point where he can just get a pass for anything. And you know what I'm starting to wonder if a lot of these fans are actual fans of the music or just fans of the artist. You know what I'm saying? Because at this point, I see people saying they'll say some great things about Lupe, but then when I point out certain things to them, they be like, "Well, he's still the better rapper," and it's like, but it's more than just being a great rapper. Because I think I compared. They said, "Well, he's a better lyricist than Kendrick." I said, "Well, that's questionable because Kendrick Lamar can do everything that Lupe does. He just don't do it because at this point in his career, he's trying to focus on making great music, not just being
And
super lyrical." You
I
know what I'm saying?
mean, that Kendrick versus Lupe debate is interesting because Kendrick's the better artist. But I mean, Lupe, I don't know if I could say that was overrated because outside of our group, well, it is getting burned. I guess I could vibe with you as being the most overrated. I would probably have to say the excuse making for Drake, but I don't know because that album's getting slammed pretty good. But I guess maybe um Lupe's album maybe the most overrated. Um, it's been a good year in hip hop. I can't really say something off the top was so great that people hyped up that I was just like I'm not with it. Um, an album I wanted to bring up that people were talking about in the group that I don't understand the big deal about is oh yeah, two albums actually, but I can't call them overrated. They just got a lot of talk, and I didn't see what it was Logic's album and also Boldy James.
Yeah.
Um, Logic, I mean, I gave him an A for effort, but it was 30 songs, meaningless skits, and his bars just does not hit, man. His bars are just so lightweight. I'm like, um,
Uh,
he said something like, um, I got bars what did he say? He said I got bars like a bench press weight or something like that. I don't know. You know what I mean? Like like is that hot? You know what I mean?
uh,
Like
I, I, I haven't even listened to Logic Project at all. and I'm gonna go listen to it because I'm not gonna say I like Logic to the point where I think he's great, but I just think that he's worthy for me to listen to. But I don't know, man. 30 songs. I don't know what's that about. I don't know what that's about. Why you
It's not
got 30 songs,
songs. It's 30.
30
It's
tracks?
30 tracks, but the skits added nothing to it.
Yeah,
He had Funk Master Flex talking all over there. It was a little bit different. You know what he tried to do? He tried to get that energy that Tyler had last year
yeah,
with that project,
yeah,
and it wasn't happening, man. It I don't know, but yeah. So I don't know. I think I might go with Logic as the most
yeah,
overrated because I don't see why that would be getting attention to me. So that might be my pick.
yeah.
Um, who are you looking forward to dropping in the second half of 2022?
Um, it's gonna sound crazy, but I'm actually looking forward to dark demo tapes 2 or 3 or whatever it is, because
Oh, yeah.
I think that he I think that if Drake's speaking on this album, I know he probably feels some type of way because people are trashing this album. And if
Oh,
he's speaking on this album, because Drake don't speak on his albums, you never seen Drake ever say anything about none of his projects. But this album, for some reason, he got emotional about it. So I think that he gonna come back with something that's probably fire. So I'm gonna give him the benefit of the doubt. I'm gonna give him one more shot because I think he got
yeah.
2 albums coming out this year. He said he got 2 more projects. He got the poetry. He got a poetry book actually. He's writing. So if it's poetry, then obviously it's probably gonna be rap. So he's got a poetry album book. It's a book and an album, and he's doing this Dark Lane demo tapes 3 or 2 or whatever it is. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna give him the benefit of the doubt. I'm hoping that he does something spectacular or even something that's better than his previous
I,
work.
I'll get to Drake in a minute. Um, two projects. Definitely, I'm looking forward to. Well, actually, all right. There are two projects I'm looking forward to the most. One, Nas King's Disease 3. Can they keep this momentum going off
Mm-hmm.
of the first three projects that Hit Boy and Nas put together? I'm real interested to see that. And two, Freddie Gibbs. I definitely want to see this. I think this is his first. I want to say major release, Freddie Gibbs project, and I think Freddie's been in a lot with the whole incident in Buffalo. I know he's got a lot to say,
Mm-hmm.
so I definitely want to see that. But before I get to Drake, and I don't want to coin it overrated yet, but I just have to listen just cause all the hoopla. But this Game album, man, I got to hear what this guy got to say, and is this man gonna deliver as much shit? Is he gonna cash in what his mouth is putting out there? Because
I got a theory. Go ahead.
yeah,
I got
yeah.
a
So
theory.
I'm not gonna say I'm looking forward to it, but definitely he's going to be the most interesting project of the year because of all the stuff going around him with all of the shit he's talking and the Eminem stuff and all of that. So I'm definitely going to tune into that. Now, to the Drake issue, my thing with Drake. Well. Let's go. What you got to say about Game? I know you got some things
Um,
to say.
I got a theory. The reason why he pushed the album back because he heard Mr. Morale and the Big Steppers, and he said, "Oh no, oh no." If I'm gonna say I'm gonna have an album of the year,
Yeah,
I better do some better shit than this.
yeah.
Yeah, I think he really heard that album and said, "Oh, this nigga from Compton too. Oh, this nigga. Oh, no, no, no.
Nah,
Uh-uh.
can't do that.
I gotta go back to the drawing board." And that's the reason why, because he was so sad. I never seen that. I never seen him say he dropping the album. He talked so much shit because Game talk shit, and then he pushed the album back, and now we don't know when it's coming out. You know what I'm saying? So it's like I think he heard that album and he said, "This is crazy. Yeah, I'm going back to the joint." I think a lot of artists after they heard that album, Either they
Yeah.
gonna just ignore it and say, "Well, I'm not in his class. I'm not doing what Kendrick do anyway, so it don't matter," or they gonna try to compete with it. And I think that he's one of those two the dude that's gonna try to compete with it. I can see him trying to do a song like "We Cry Together." I can literally see him trying to do something
Uh,
like that. You know, just like a different version of it. I'm
you know what
telling
I
you.
think? I think Game really believed that. I think he really believed that the hype off of the whole M situation and the
Yeah,
M interviews was going to generate enough interest that
yeah,
people wanted to hear what he said. But I think he misplayed his hand with that so much because the Eminem narrative is old, man. It's old. You can't take down Eminem no matter what you want to do. M is not doing a versus with you. You know, I find it interesting. I don't say it was connected, but if you notice, Eminem just did a song with Snoop Dogg,
yeah,
who's also from
yeah, yeah,
that area, what have you. He got a song. They both was spitting on there.
yeah,
I don't know if that was like a subtle dig at Game.
yeah,
Say, hey, um, your uncle,
yeah,
I did a song with your godfather over
yeah,
there and still
yeah,
flexed on it. Like
yeah,
just to send a message to Game that you're not on my
yeah,
level.
yeah,
But yeah, dude, like I think he's gonna generate juice off that, and he noticed that it wasn't going nowhere. So it's like I said, it's back to another gimmick. If the man would have just said, "Look, I'm just gonna go out and put out a straight album and just rap and do my thing," it would be pretty good. Cause the dude's got skills and can rap, but all of that hoopla it ain't go nowhere, man. It ain't
yeah,
go nowhere.
yeah. I agree with that. I think at this point, Game has painted itself like that whole Eminem narrative is dead. It's so overdone that people don't because people care, but at the same time, I think it's people like now they like, oh, you don't care. Like either they
See,
like Eminem
this
or
is
they don't. Like
off topic, but he only stands to lose like 10 times if he does a diss song about Eminem because you dissing Eminem in 2022, people not gonna care because Eminem, first of all, he has a legion of a fan base that's 10 times, 15 times to what Game got.
yeah,
You're not going to bring him down. People on the West Coast, which is Gaines' fan base, ain't going to side with him on this because, of course, M got Dre, and you know they ain't going to go against Dr. Dre.
mm-hmm.
So, and then with if M come back with just one verse on Game, he's going to be over times 10. And he know he can't go Eminem in that realm. So eh, he can't like it would be the biggest version of career suicide to
Yeah,
go against Eminem even now. You know
yeah,
what I mean? And I think even he knows that.
yeah. Eminem at this point is he's criticized, but he's untouchable. There's nothing you can do to him because he's already accomplished everything that you would never accomplish. So it's like, what's the point of you even dissing him? What just make great music. Why are you even focused on
Just,
that guy? You know what
just
I'm saying?
rap.
Just rap.
Yeah, just
You a
rap.
good rapper. Just rap. Why are we Eminem ain't say nothing to you? Well, you gotta all of a sudden like what? Why are you acting like you this hero? Like Eminem's the villain and you're the hero. It's like no, dog. It's like
Eminem, listen, Eminem could come with one verse, and he could just play the interview clip of saying how nobody in the world could fuck with Eminem, and everybody's scared of that white boy, and he could wipe him out on one verse, and game's over. He's done.
yeah.
He can't respond to that.
That's
He
what I'm
can't respond.
saying. I think to be honest with you, I think Game thinks. See, Eminem used to be very reactionary and he was emotional. I think Eminem has gotten to that point that he surpassed that now. Now he knows because Eminem did a whole reaction album. Niggas were saying that his album was the other album Relapse was trash. Oh no, what was it? Was it Relapse? No, it wasn't Relapse. It was what was the album he did with the American flag on the front? It wasn't Relapse. That was
Revival.
Revival. People
Yeah.
were saying it was trash. He did it in the same. He did a whole nother album and said, "Nah, I'm gonna do." He did Kamikaze and said, "No, okay, y'all think that that's trash? No, I'm gonna do a whole nother album that's and then talk about that album." I think Eminem got to this point now. He's not as reactionary as he used to be, and people know that. And I think Game, see, Eminem used to be. You say something to him, he'll do a diss song on you right away. You know what I'm saying? Now he looks at it like, well, it ain't even worth my time no more. And I think he looks at it now like, well, I'm not. Why am I dissing you? You ain't doing nothing for me. You know what I'm saying? So I think at this point in Eminem's career, plus Eminem's what 51, 50
Yeah, he's
something.
50 years old. Yeah.
Like, come on, when are we gonna grow up here? Like, all the rappers are old.
Dame
Game's like
43.
43, and you're still talking about dissing niggas. Like, come on, man. Like, what are
Dame,
we doing here?
tell
Like,
you.
I'll tell you, that's the reason why. You know what I mean? Like,
What are we gonna do with Game, man?
I
What
don't
we gonna
understand it,
do?
man.
But
I don't.
let before we close out with Drake, we're gonna get back to the Drake point. I don't know anymore, man. Can can Drake and you mentioned Dark Lane demo tapes too. Can Drake ever get back to nothing was the same Drake? Can
You
he
at
do it?
you
Yeah.
asking me? I think that Drake can be better than Nothing Was the Same Drake if Drake was to just do rap music. I think that at this point people don't care. I mean, he got his core fan base that cares about that type of music. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
He can be successful like that, but
He got a
he needs.
cult, but
Yeah, he has a cult following. Yes, he's kind of like Beyonce. That's another person that did an album that nobody really cared about. You know
yeah.
what I'm saying? Like, just Beyonce, I don't understand it, but still, he has a cult following. But I think that he stopped being cutting edge, and I think now he's just putting out stuff just because his name is Drake, and he feels like, well, I could do whatever. I think that he can be better than because I heard it in Certified Lover Boy. You know what I mean, it was an okay project, but I hear that he can be great. The mob ties, like he could be great if he wanted to, but at this point, I just don't see him, trying to do something amazing.
I mean, of course, I'm gonna listen, but I don't know, man. I mean, and see, Drake's still young enough because he's only what 33, I believe, 34. But yeah, I don't know, man. Will Drake ever? This is the question. Will Drake ever put out an album of the year? That's the thing, because I can't see him. I can't see him getting anything past what Ransom or even Benny or what Kendrick did this year. I just can't. Not even Pusha T.
Yeah,
Could he put out? Could the next project be decent? Yeah, because it's Drake. He could definitely put out a dope project. I thought Dark Lane demo tape was dope. You know what I mean? But I don't see it, man.
he's
I
more
don't know. And
he's
maybe you got more faith than me.
he's more. The thing about Drake is he's more focused on numbers. He feels
Yeah.
like if he can I just
But
I
you know
don't
what they're
know.
gonna do, right?
Some things I
They're
want to
gonna,
say, man, but I know people are gonna be like, I don't know about that.
but you know what? He's gonna get to the point where he has all these number ones. It's gonna be like the Eminem thing. Oh, he
Yeah,
only sells because of that.
yeah,
You
yeah,
know, and
yeah.
once see when you're that level of greatness, sooner or later you got to deliver, or people are just going to fade on you, and you're just gonna have your cult behind you, and that's that. You know, it's like,
I
oh
tell you
yeah,
like this. If
whatever.
his next album isn't good, he's gonna lose a lot of fans because
I don't think.
I think that a lot of his fans now are they're on the borderline because I see a lot of people that I know that are big Drake fans. They think this album is terrible. Like one of
Yeah,
my one boys like that album is trash, and it's like I don't understand how he would say it's hot. I think that, and of course, he's gonna still have his core people, but I'm saying the people that because if you look at it, Drake numbers was like stupid high before. It's kind of dropped significantly, and it's not as like I don't think this album sold anywhere near close to Certified Lover Boy.
Oh no,
Certified Lover Boy was 600 and
but
something.
Loverboy had the Certified Lover Boy had the whole Kanye juice behind it.
Yeah, yeah,
You know what I mean? So that whole dynamic was going behind it, and that kind of drove that. Plus, Drake did a diss on Kanye, and then they
yeah,
had the whole concert and all
yeah,
of that
yeah.
stuff.
But it wouldn't that? But this is what I'm saying to you. Wouldn't that
Yeah,
put him in a better position? So this album that came out, it would be probably up there too. Because he, if
well,
it, you know what I'm
surprise
saying?
album. It was a surprise album, and it wasn't a rap album. It wasn't
Yeah,
hip hop. Once people saw, oh, it's dance,
yeah,
I don't know about
yeah.
that.
Like that's what I'm saying.
But I don't know. You might have a point because it, Drake's gonna run out of gimmicks soon,
Yeah,
and then once the gimmicks run out, it's just gonna be you and the microphone, dog. You got to do
yeah,
something with it.
yeah. That's
That's
it.
basically what. So
That's
I
it.
don't know, man. Drake. So I would definitely say Drake and Game are the two most interesting guys to watch, whatever they
Yeah,
do
yeah,
in the second half of
yeah.
2022. So anyway, we're gonna wrap it up for tonight. Check us out, YouTube, Shadow Code Radio. Definitely, we gotta get our subs up. Definitely listen to us, subscribe, like, share, spread the word about us, yo. We're just starting out, and we're gonna have more content coming, more reviews coming. Check us out in Hip Hop Roundtable, the review, our group, where we review music all day. We post performances, post other reviews from other people. We post new songs, new hip hop content. Check us out on Facebook. So, with that, we're going to post this up probably tomorrow. Check out our new post on our Shadow Code Radio page. And y'all have a good night, all right? Peace.
Peace.